Abused, rejected, sent to live among the nation's worst criminals. This was the fate of the mentally ill in America's 1800s. The mentally ill were treated more like animals than human beings, being forced into cellars and cages and being whipped till they obeyed. In these prisons, there was no access to help for them, no one to care for them or tend to their needs. This all changed in 1841 with Dorothea Dix, a woman who led the reform to save the mentally ill from their infliction. While visiting prisons, she witnessed the severe treatment of the mentally ill patients and began a crusade, visiting prisons in Springfield, Sterling, Rutland, and elsewhere, and documenting about them. At a prison in Lincoln, she recorded a man was chained and kept in a closed stall for 17 years. She sent her findings in a memorial letter to the legislature of Massachusetts in 1843 in hopes to expose the atrocities of the treatment of the mentally ill and bring about the creation of asylums. Dix famously said, "In the providence of God, I am the voice of the maniac, whose piercing cries from the dreary dungeons of your jails penetrate not your halls of legislation."
Dorothea Dix is a prominent figure in history. She was born on April 4, 1802 in Hampton, Maine. She spent most of her life caring for her siblings Joseph and Charles because of her parents' inability to. Her mom suffered from incurable headaches and her father was an abusive alcoholic. Not only did she have to tend to her parents and siblings, she also tended to her grandmother when she got old. Although Dorothea Dix's father was an abusive alcoholic, he positively impacted her life by teaching her how to read and write. Dorothea Dix developed a passion for reading and teaching, which fostered her love for helping those in need. Entering her adulthood, Dorothea Dix began teaching at her school, Dix Mansion, for girls. After, she stopped because she was drained from having to tend to her family. However, her passion for teaching did not stop. She returned to her teaching hobby at a Sunday school class for women inmates. Unfortunately, she had witnessed something so morbid it would change her life forever.
Dorothea Dix was not looking for personal benefits in assisting the mentally ill. She simply sympathized with them. She wanted to be an advocate for those who had no voice. Dix saw herself as a guardian and representative of the helpless, stating, "I am the revelation of the hundreds of wailing, suffering creatures hidden in your dwelling, cut off from all the healing influences, from all the mind-restoring cares." Dorothea Dix was opposed to the incarceration of the mentally ill, for her belief was that placing the innocent on a level with the guilty was like associating misfortune and crime with disease and health. Although sympathetic with the insane, as she would call them, Dorothea Dix did believe that some sort of restraint was necessary to keep the public safe and secure. It was the incarceration of the mentally ill that she objected to. With the powers of persuasion, Dorothea Dix posed to the legislation that they should be happy with the powers they possess, to have such godlike influence over such man. They should take the opportunity and help.
Dix's campaign illustrates two important shifts in the social attitudes during the antebellum era. Prior to the 19th century, women's importance was held within their household. Women were not permitted to hold public office or publicly debate topics such as business and government. However, social and moral issues such as prostitution, prohibition, slavery, and care for the mentally ill were considered acceptable topics for women to discuss, since they were known as the nurturers and moral guardians of society. During the 19th century, Dix, influenced by abolitionists such as William Lloyd Garrison, campaigned for the reform of the mentally ill and prisons. Having struggled herself at the age of 39 in 1841, Dix's journey as an advocate for voicing the mad began. While volunteering within the jails, Dix witnessed disturbing images that forever changed her and influenced her to take those matters and present them to the state legislators. Dorothea witnessed and observed prostitutes, drunks, criminals, retarded individuals, and the mentally ill. She describes where they were being housed as filthy, unheated, unfurnished, and foul-smelling. When questioning a jailer why there were no stoves, he simply replied, fire was not needed and not safe. He also claimed that the mentally ill did not know the difference between hot and cold. Although having faced health problems and seen as skeptical by physicians such as Amariah Brigham, Dorothea Dix overcame these obstacles and continued to travel throughout the states, covering every state east of the Mississippi River. Dorothea Dix successfully found 32 mental hospitals, such as the Worcester State Hospital in 1843 and the Insane North Carolina Hospital in 1849. She also founded 15 schools for the feeble-minded, a school for the blind, and numerous training facilities for nurses. Dix was an instrumental figure throughout the 19th century in establishing mental hospitals and revolutionizing prisons.
Dorothea Dix not only impacted society during her time, but she also impacted modern-day society. Had Dorothea Dix not set up the first institution for the mentally ill in 1849, then those who need special care could have been left outcasted for many years to come. She made it so they were accepted more into society and received the necessary help. Still to this day, we have institutions where the mentally ill can go. They receive proper care in safe and beneficial ways, just as Dorothea Dix had wanted. By working with the prison inmates, she began to show people that not all mental illnesses were incurable. This started her mission to set up mental institutions. Even after President Franklin Pierce vetoed the bill passed by both houses that was to help the mentally ill, she did not give up. She traveled to Europe and spread awareness there also. She then returned to the U.S., and the only thing that slowed her down was when she became ill. She led the way for even more acceptance of the mentally ill. She's the one who started to show people that there is a way to help those who need help using proper care. Dorothea Dix not spread awareness not only in the U.S. but all over the world. We may not be where we are today when it comes to accepting the mentally ill.
I'm supposed to be somewhere crazy. I need to wait.